and welcome to the Live Lounge at Open Banking Expo Canada 2026. I'm joined now by Saba Shariff, Senior Vice President, Strategy, Product and Innovation at Symcor, our headline partner again for this year. Welcome to the Live Lounge, Saba.
Thank you, Ellie. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Well, this definitely isn't your first expo. You've been coming for many years now. What are you hearing so far that's got you excited about today?
When we started today's discussion, actually, as part of the keynote, we talked a lot about momentum, Ellie. And I've had multiple people come back up to me and repeat that word. And that's so pleasing. They definitely feel the energy is different this year. There's lots of excitement and there's lots of hope, but not false hope, like real hope that we're going to see real action and real traction with open banking in Canada.
As you said, you've delivered your keynote. You are on stage today. When you're taking to the stage, what's the conversation that you're kind of most excited about having?
Well, once I get over my nerves of of getting on stage,
Yeah.
the conversation I'm most excited about having is really about journeys. We talked a lot with a lot of people about what does open banking actually mean when you implement it? What are the things that people are actually going to do and use? What's going to show up that's going to be different in their financial lives than it is today? And so when we talk and fintechs come up to me or banks come up to me or others, and they have ideas on what they could do with this data, not just banking data, but insurance data, wealth data, broader pension information. That's what really excites me is the art of the possible when it comes to really impactful customer journeys.
Well, I think you alluded to this actually in your keynote. There's something in the air that's a bit different this year. Based on the conversations you've heard, both on stage but also around the exhibition floor, what feels different to you about the conversations at this year's expo?
It's far more practical. Like everyone here now is talking about, their eagerness to see the final set of regulations, participate in that process, but as opposed to consultation after consultation, delay after delay. I mean, the first open banking laws actually finally passed in Canada last year. We have a budget that is pushing forward broader data sharing rights. All of this feels more real, more tangible. And then just based on our experience in the market, we're actually in the middle of real data sharing, real exchange with APIs, with proper consent. And that's exciting. It's no longer theoretical, it's practical in here.
I mean, as you say, these conversations have been going on for a while now, but is there anything today that's actually challenged your own thinking?
I don't know that it's challenged my own thinking. I think we talk a lot about learning from other jurisdictions. What I did appreciate, and Ron Morrow reiterated, is you can't just copy that. You can't just copy someone else's playbook. You need to do what's right for Canada and for Canadians, and we certainly hold to that belief. So I think what challenges my assumptions always is every time there's a pause or another delay is, do we really need to delay? Like how much further and faster can we go while still respecting consumer trust? So that's always the things that are, in the back of my mind. I'm a person who likes to move forward and move forward fast. You don't want to break anything during that process either.
Well, we've got plenty of leaders here in the room today. What should they be going back to their teams with? What should they be taking back that they can act on?
What I would love for them to do is to, move from a paper-based theory into real practical results. So a lot of us talk today about get clear on your strategy. So what is it? What are you focusing on first? Obviously, you're going to have to get your data out. A certain set of banks will likely be mandated to do that in Canada. Everyone else is going to opt in. If you want to use that data for value-added use cases, you've got to still get your data out because reciprocity will be at the core of any future implementation. And so what I would ask those leaders to do is get that compliance stuff, that necessary stuff out of the way, leverage organizations and partners to do that, and then start really thinking through the value add and imagining the use cases and the customer journeys that you can impact if you actually are to make this live. So that's what I think everyone here needs to do is pick one use case that they know is going to positively impact the financial lives of a consumer or a small business and go ahead and try and make that a reality.
I mean, that's something you covered actually in your keynote, isn't it? That those kind of practical use cases, things you can do. Was that really important to you to set that tone today?
Very important. It's so theoretical sometimes. If you don't actually know, well, okay, if I had savings data, what would I do? If I had checking data, what would I do with it? So until you can make it real, and this is where we do have the benefit of looking at other jurisdictions who have implemented interesting use cases. The reality is no two jurisdictions have implemented the same. It's all different. It's all unique. It's all specific to their environment and their needs. But there are practical things that apply no matter what. Cash flow management, better credit adjudication, savings goals and helping Canadians with that, payment initiation type services. So those already exist. It was really important for me to move it from that theory into more practicality.
Yeah, absolutely. And why do you think now is the right time to be having this conversation?
Well, we don't have a if the timeline's actually held, we don't have a lot of time because, in the last, budget, it was indicated that there would be some implementations expected in 2026. Well, we're about halfway gonna be halfway through that year, pretty soon, and so now it has to be really about build plans, implementation plans, execution plans, and there are certainly some questions that still remain unanswered, Ellie, like, we don't have it all figured out. A lot of people are talking about, "Well, if I don't know the standard, how can I actually build an API?" And I tell them, "Don't worry, we've got you on that one." But, it is so important just given the urgency that our government has set. But if you just even look outside, it is a contested world right now. And I don't think we can wait. I think as a jurisdiction, as a country, as Canadians, we need to move. Otherwise, we risk falling further and further behind.
And so, how are you going to leave today feeling? Will you be more optimistic, more positive, a little bit more cautious about open banking in Canada? What's the overall sentiment?
It's a great question. I am a glass half full person always, and so nothing that I've heard today has pushed back on that optimism. In fact, I I'm feeding off the energy at today's expo. This year is so different than when the first expo was held in a much smaller venue with a lot fewer people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can feel the energy. It's here in the exhibitors, it's here in the attendees, it's here in the speakers. So yes, I am more optimistic than ever.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. It definitely feels like there's an intention in the room, I think. Saba, it's a joy to have you in the live lounge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ellie.